How's everyone doing today? Today I'm gonna be doing my prediction of the Russia 2018 World Cup that's coming up this summer. And I found this neat little website that has all the countries listed and teams already have them listed here. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I thought I'd figure, I'd just use it. Um, can also be for the people who don't actually know which countries are in the World Cup yet. For the people who don't know, unfortunately, Italy didn't make it, which later I'll be talking about that. But yeah, Italy did not make it to World Cup. Same with Netherlands, USA, so on and so forth. So let's just go on with it. Group A, let's start with Group A. We have Russia, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Uruguay. Russia, they actually didn't go through any kind of qualifier rounds or anything like that, just because they're the host of the World Cup. So if you're the host of the World Cup, you don't have to deal with any of that, and you just automatically qualify. So luckily they're just in the World Cup. Then you have Saudi Arabia, which I think are going to have a tough time getting out of this group. Then you have Egypt. Egypt have someone who's extremely on form right now by the name of Mohamed Salah, playing for Liverpool. Star man at the club right now. First year coming back to the Premier League. Crazy. He's on fire right now. I believe he's the top goal scorer in the Premier League as well, with I want to say 13 goals, somewhere around there. All I know is that he's higher than Harry Kane, so I'm happy. So yeah, so they have Mohamed Salah, they have El Neni from Arsenal, and to be honest, those are the only two people I really know. And yeah, in my opinion, I think they're going to become second out of this group. Then you have Uruguay. Either, to be honest, it's going to be a tough group. Um, in all aspects, just because, to be honest, Russia's starting 11, none of them really play like in the Premier League, in Ligue 1, in La Liga, Bundesliga, none of that. They all play literally in the Russian league, which isn't a bad thing. Nothing against them, but you know that's why they don't really have any known players. So they have I guess, a well balanced team, you can say, but they don't have any star players. They don't have any big names out there. Um, Egypt is definitely an underdog team, and Uruguay would definitely say to top the group, especially the fact that they have two great strikers up top, just ready to take down any defense. Being Luis Suarez, he's off form right now, but we already know how good he is. If anyone remembers his Liverpool days, ridiculous. We have him next to him is Cavani. Cavani's flying right now at PSG. On the left of him, he has Neymar. On the right of him, he has Mbappe. Let's say they get injured. On the left of him, he has Di Maria. On the right of him, he has Lucas. Like, this guy, he has it all right now, especially in the league that they're in. He's bound to score plenty of goals. So we're gonna put Uruguay first. On the top of that, they also have Muslera, which is, to be honest, a very good goalkeeper. And they have Godin and Jimenez. They have a pretty decent team. Um, so Group B, we have Portugal, Spain, Morocco, and Iran. All right. Um, Portugal and Spain, it should be pretty easy to get out of here. Um, Morocco actually have an interesting story. They actually haven't been in the World Cup since 1999, I believe, or 1988. I'm sorry. Um, and they actually won their group over Ivory Coast. And Ivory Coast, they're not a terrible team. They have Bailly, they have a couple players. Um, Benatia scoring 2 goals to bring them in the lead, and they beat Ivory Coast 2-0 to win their group and make it to the World Cup. So that's pretty huge for them. I definitely think that Spain and Portugal will still be top of this group. I'm gonna speak about them too in a bit, and Iran I think are gonna have a very tough time getting out of here. Let's start with Portugal. Portugal, I'm nothing better to start than talking about Cristiano Ronaldo just winning his fifth Ballon d'Oro, tying with Lionel Messi. Now we'll never know who is the greatest soccer player of all time, just because of how many trophies and just records these two players, and especially him, have broken. Top goal scorer in Real Madrid. He's has the most hat tricks in Champions League history. Just I can. There's a whole list, so I'm not gonna even go through all of them. But so he's the star man there, obviously. Next to him, you have Nani, Quaresma. In the midfield, they have plenty of talent. To be honest, their midfield aren't on form. They have Renato Sanchez, who's playing at Swan City. Swan City. He's not having the best time of his life right now. He's having a rough start there. He's on loan from Bayern Munich. Next to him, you have Andres Gomez, who's at Barcelona. Don't even think he's getting play time right now. So those two players specifically had a really good year in the Euros. So it's you would expect them to be, you would expect them by now to be very, very good. They still are very good, but they're just having they're off form right now. They're having a really rough time getting back on form. They have Moutinho from Monaco. Monaco just got they just didn't even make it to they ruled out of the Champions League. They didn't even make it out of their group. I don't even think they made it into the Euros. Pretty sure they got in last place. So also doesn't seem like they're gonna win the French league. So there, Moutinho right there. Pepe's getting old. He's always good, but he's getting up there in age, and they have players, but they might be lacking if those players aren't on form. Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, is always going to be on form. Spain, for years, have always been they'll always have the depth. They'll always have the youth. Just so many good players in each position. So they're always going to be a threat, and for that reason, a lot of people are putting Spain first. Personally, I think that Portugal are actually going to win this. I think that they're going to win this group. Just because, if you think about it, this is Cristiano Ronaldo's last World Cup. Or it should be at least. He's going to be, I think, 33. This is his last World Cup. He's going to go off. We're going to see probably, because this is the only trophy that he's missing for him to be known as the greatest. If he wins the World Cup, there is no debate, really, to be honest. It's him or Messi. Whoever wins that World Cup, that's the greatest player of all time, to be honest, just because they've won every single trophy. So I think Cristiano Ronaldo, I think we're going to see a form of him that we've never seen before. That's just my personal opinion. So and Real Madrid are having a rough start. It looks like they're not going to win the league, but we'll get more into that later. So yeah, I think Portugal they're gonna edge this from first place just by a little bit, but I think they're gonna win the group. Then we have Spain in second. Then we have France, Austria, Peru, and Denmark. France, let's just click on that right away. France are obviously, and looking at this group, they're gonna definitely be in first. Austria are gonna have a rough time. Peru and Denmark. This is gonna be tough. That game's gonna be very interesting, just because Peru, they just have so much chemistry and they play with just so much heart. They gave a lot of hard time in the qualifiers. They gave a lot of hard time to almost every single team, even Brazil, Colombia especially. Chile didn't even make it to the World Cup. Oh, yep, that's another country that didn't make it. And Peru giving Colombia such a hard time. That's the reason why Chile didn't make it to the World Cup. So Chile are a very, very strong team. Denmark have the likes of Eriksson, extremely, very, very, very talented midfielder. He can create stuff out of thin air, so he's gonna be very someone you really want to watch out for. But I think Peru are just gonna edge this one off. Argentina, Iceland, Croatia, Nigeria in Group D. Argentina, hopefully we'll see them win the group. They do have Lionel Messi. They do have Dybala. They do have Higuain. They do have Otamendi. They have just so many players. For some weird reason, they just edged it off to make it to qualify for the World Cup. I don't know how that. I don't know why, because they just have so many players that are very talented. I don't understand why. I think it's a little bit of the coach and their chemistry in general. I feel like the team they just try to ride the Messi wave, and they just try to go with whatever he does. Kind of. They don't really try to work as a team. Honestly, they probably think, okay, if we're down 1 goal, Messi's gonna come out with two, so we're okay. That's probably their mentality right now, just because he's that good. Hopefully, they get that sorted out and they win Group D. Um, Croatia, Iceland. Iceland, man, a very small country. Honestly, they probably have just starting 11 for their starting 11 team. They just probably have like 13, 11 to 13 players on their roster. So um, they are a very small, very very small country. Made it to the semifinals in the Euros, which was very very interesting and very cool to watch. They eliminated England, which is a huge shout for their country, and they do that pretty cool chant. I don't obviously you can't see me, so I can't really do it, but if you guys know it, it's pretty cool. So they're always gonna have a fight in them. I think well Croatia they have Mandzukic, Rakitic, Modric. They have so many players as well. Perisic from Inter Milan, and to be honest, all those players, even though they're getting older, those are those kind of players that will they're gonna stick their ground. Like they're not gonna lose their form just because they have that much experience in their belt that they're gonna perform. They're gonna give you threat. Nigeria, I actually have a friend who is he got called up. He's most likely not gonna start because he's very young, but he got called up to the Nigerian squad, and he's gonna go out with them, which is pretty cool. But even he said, they're not gonna have a very high chance of making it far. So I'm gonna put Croatia getting out of this group in second. Brazil, Switzerland, Costa Rica, and Serbia. Brazil, I'm gonna say are gonna win this group right away. Then you have Switzerland. Switzerland have El Shaarawy. They have Embolo. They have Summers as their goalkeeper. Embolo, he's very good. He's very young. First of all, he can play in several positions. But the only thing is he hasn't found his club that's really sparked him to let him evolve at all. He's been to Watford. He's been to Milan. He's been to just so many clubs. I don't think he's found his one club that that he says, okay, I can really perform well in this club. So besides that, Shaqiri's and him at Stoke City don't think he's doing that well, to be honest. So they're gonna have a rough. But just because I don't think Costa Rica or Serbia are gonna do much damage, Switzerland are gonna get out of this, which they're very. That's actually a pretty good group for them, to be honest. The group of death, as they call it. We have Germany, Mexico, Sweden, and South Korea. This is going to be a very interesting group to just watch. Almost every game is going to be very good. Germany, let's click on that right away. Even though, actually, let's take that back. I don't think Mexico, Sweden, or South Korea are really going to do much damage on Germany. They just have too much power on each position. The only positions they might lack is left back, and I don't even think that's much of an issue. They can simply just play a 3-back with Hummels, Boateng. They can put in Sule. They can put in, that's the Bayern defense right there, with Neuer as the goalkeeper. Like there's just so much they can do. So they're definitely going to be first. Mexico have a very very good squad. Ochoa, him or Tim Howard being one of the best goalkeepers of the tournament last year is huge. Very very big because neither one of those countries really made it past the semis. So The fact that they had a very good game, their goalkeepers respectively deserved, whatever they won, which I believe Ochoa might have won the Golden Glove, I think. So they have a very good keeper in their hands. They have Carlos Vela, a lot of experience going into that club. It's definitely gonna Herrera, Cuadrado. They have a lot of experience, a lot of chemistry, very compact team that can do some damage. Sweden, Sweden is in the same boat as Iceland, especially since the big man, the big striker, the one that they know as the Mr. Bicycle Kick, the Lion. There's so many names, the God, whatever you want to call him, is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Unfortunately, he retired. I'm hearing rumors that he might come back just because they qualified. Um, I don't think, even if he does come back, I don't think they're going to get out of this group. It would be very cool if we do see Zlatan come back. I think that Mexico will still beat them, though. Yeah, I honestly do think. South Korea, I'm sorry. Um, Actually, today, Spurs, Son, he was the man of the match, and he played an excellent game. He plays on the wing. What's good is about him, he's very versatile. He can play striker, center, forward, right wing, left wing. Like, he can play a lot of positions, which is very good for his country. Just because I'm almost positive Croatia have a lot of fast. I keep on saying Croatia. I'm sorry. South Korea, they have a lot of fast wingers. They might not be very skilled or whatever, but they're very pacey. So if he can play that center forward or that striker position, that could do some damage. I'm gonna put Mexico as second coming out of this group though. Belgium, Panama, Tunisia, and England. Tunisia, I believe that's the first time they're in the World Cup. If not, they haven't been in there. They honestly, from what I remember, they haven't. They had a rough time actually qualifying for the World Cup. They had like a nil-nil draw, and like they went into penalties or something like that. Like they didn't. They're not. They don't have a lot of scores. Let's just say that. So they're gonna have a tough time. Same with Panama, to be honest. I don't. They might have been the first time they've been in the World Cup. I'm not sure. Um, England and Belgium are definitely gonna be getting out of this Group G. Belgium, I think, being first. Um, England, they have the tendency to losing against very poor teams or underdog teams, as they call it. England, they also have some managerial issues. I believe Southgate he's the manager right now, but he's still you know even though they won their group and they played an excellent qualifier, um, they still had a rough. I don't know. I feel like they still have some rough patches that they need to fix. Excellent squad though. Excellent squad. Now, my personal favorite group, just because I'm a Bayern Munich fan, I'm Colombian, and one of my favorite players plays on the Senegal squad. So let's start off with Poland, Senegal, Colombia, and Japan. I'm going to be tuned into this group like it's no tomorrow. Couldn't really ask for a more entertaining one in my part. Um, Poland, they have the best number 9, best striker currently, being Robert Lewandowski. You can't really argue that just because really there's nothing to argue. Luis Suarez is having a really rough season. I'm almost sure Sergio Ramos has more goals than him right now. And Sergio Ramos is a center back from Spain, playing for Real Madrid. Um, yeah, Barcelona striker having less goals than a center back is pretty rough. So yeah, that's pretty rough. So Robert Lewandowski is for sure the best striker right currently. And to be honest, I watch every Bayern Munich game, and I've seen him when he's off form, and when he's off form, it's actually if he doesn't have the supplies, if he doesn't have the midfield and the wingers to give him those balls right in front of the net, pretty much, he can't do that much damage. Um, yeah, so that's the only reason why Poland doesn't really benefit him. Blachowski, very old. They do have Gillick as a center back. Very strong, plays for Monaco. He's very good slide tackling, very good slide tackling. He's very good at like a man on man. He's not the fastest center back. His pace is actually very slow. He's very slow. But he still is a very decent center back. They have Piszczek as a right back, playing for Dortmund, having a really rough season. I think he's currently injured right now, but all I know is that me being a Bayern Munich fan, Dortmund lost today, and they're in seventh place right now. So I am a pretty happy kid. But yeah, that's that. Then you have Senegal. Senegal, they have Sadio Mane. I'm a lover for Bayern Munich, but I support Liverpool when it comes to Premier League teams. And any Liverpool fan would tell you that Sadio Mane is definitely one of your favorite Liverpool players. Sadio Mane is just incredible to watch. His pace, his agility, his dribbling, like it's just so amazing to watch. It's so difficult to defend this type of player. Um, Unfortunately, they do have squad. Mm, let me word that differently. They don't have squad depth. Their starting 11 isn't terrible. They have Koulibaly from Napoli, who's a very good center back. They do. Um, they have Guin from Everton. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Everton's having a rough season, so he's a good player, but they're having a rough season, so that's not really helping them very much. So that's gonna be very rough for them. Um, Colombia. Now, me being Colombian, I'm trying to stay away from being biased as much in this video, but I honestly think that Colombia will win this group. Colombia star player James. Again, me being Bayern Munich, James is playing for Bayern Munich right now. A lot of people said when James was actually going to, when he was transferring to Bayern Munich, I was one of the few people who said, well, the people who said that he was going to Bayern Munich, they said that he wasn't gonna get a lot of play time. I was one of the few people who said he actually was, just because I felt that he fit right in that position, especially since Bayern Munich they tend to deal with so many injuries throughout the season. Toward like round of 16s, quarterfinals, semifinals, they were gonna find a spot for him. Him and Muller play a very similar role. Right now, currently, we're we're playing both of them to be honest, which is pretty cool. And we're playing very good. I believe he has 3 man of the matches under his belt, which is excellent. He's flying right now. Then you have the name. A lot of people might not know him, but his name is Davidson Sanchez. He's a center back. I believe he's 22 years old. He's obviously Colombian. He's a center back for Spurs. He just transferred there from. I wouldn't be able to tell you. I'm sorry about that. It might be from America, one of the club teams in Colombia, I believe, or it might be from the Brazilian league. But he is flying. He's really excelling in this club. Since their first match day, he's been starting, and it's there. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's not. They're not the club in general. They're not doing as well, but he's performing very well. He's very talented. He has lots to learn, I'm not going to lie to you, but that's why he has this whole year to develop. That's why he has this whole year to gather that. And there's nothing better than him being placed in um, leagues in the world. We couldn't ask for a better spot for him to be in. So as long as he gets that experience, he's going to be great, especially since he has the pace, the physicality, and the defending. He has everything. He's a well-rounded center back. Cuadrado, you're always gonna have a trickster, 5-star skiller. He's very agile, very quick with the movements, very hard to defend. Falcao, again, he's playing for Monaco, so they're having a really rough season. Um, yeah, he's having a really rough season. What's good about Colombia is they have a lot of strikers. We're known for having a lot of strikers. Like they might not be very high, like very known strikers, but we have a lot of them. So if, for an example, we have Falcao, we have Baca who just left Milan, we have Muriel who's playing for Sevilla right now. We have Dale Gutierrez who's usually he's playing in the Colombian, but he's very in the Colombian league, but he's very good. So we have a lot of strikers. That's not really the problem. We also have these. Who else do we have? Yeah, I'm not gonna get too in depth in them, but I think that Colombia are gonna win that group. Japan have the likes of Kagawa. They don't really have that many outstanding players. Think they're gonna have a rough time with it. They might. We're actually playing them first. That's the first game we're playing, so I think we're gonna shut them out pretty easily. And I think Poland are gonna win in second place. They're gonna get second in the group. Now we go on to the round of 16. And actually, guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do two parts of this video. So I just did the group stages. If you want to watch the rest of this video, just click part two. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much.